Hello everyone, it's Matt here from Prepared UK 101, and today I've got two very similar but two very different headlamps to show you. We have got first of all the Fenix HL50, and it's slightly smaller but no less attractive Olight competitor, the H1 Nova. They're both small head torches that have a removable headband, and if you're looking for something to take with you every day, or you're looking for something to use around a camp, you're looking for something for maybe a son or daughter to take away to a cub or a scout camp, or if you just want a really cool little headlamp, then these two are certainly worth considering. The Olight comes slightly better presented. It comes in a little gift box, and inside the gift box you get all your usual instructions, information and guidance leaflets, as well as a handy pocket clip and a place to keep the light unit and the headband. The Fenix HL50 comes in a blister pack with a headband, the light unit, and quite a useful AA battery converter tube. Both of these torches run as their mainstay battery, the CR123A. Now, these are really common, or well, they didn't used to be really common, but they're becoming more common. They're a really small, powerful battery. My preferred 123As are the Nightcore ones, because you absolutely can trust them. And they give these little Cree XM L2 T6 lighting diodes, a huge amount of power for a long time. Let's have a look at their comparisons in terms of weight. The Fenix HL50, the unit weighs 48 grams. The Olight lighting unit weighs 44 grams, 44 grams. So there's not a lot to choose from in there in terms of weight of the body, but there is quite a lot to choose from in terms of size. The Olight is a little bit smaller and a little bit neater in its overall presentation. Presentation isn't everything though. In operation, you add the headband at 28 grams and the light unit together 71 grams, and with the Fenix, the headband 31 grams, and with the lighting unit 81 grams. So really overall, when you're actually wearing it, there's not a lot to choose from. Both these head torches come with a good quality, well made, elasticated headband, but they differ slightly in that the Fenix has a metal headband and the lighting unit clips in to the headband and clips off very neatly and very quickly, and that allows you your adjustment rotation vertically as well, and it really does fit securely and it really does feel well made. When I first opened the Olight one, I wasn't sure about these two rubber loops here that hold the light unit in place. I was reasonably confident that over time, in the cold, in the dark, that mounting the headlight unit on there ultimately was going to cause these rings to fail. Having said that though, yes, it takes a little bit longer to fit the unit on the Olight in comparison to fitting the unit on the Fenix. Helps if you put it on the right way around. And in use, you don't really notice much difference. The elastic covers most of the headband back up, so this metal doesn't feel uncomfortable, doesn't touch your forehead, and the grip that you get from the rubber on here doesn't seem to add or detract from the use. There are a couple of advantages with the Olight one, for example. It does have a magnetic base, which would mean that if you were, for example, doing something under the bonnet of your car and you just wanted to mount it in place, I keep my S1 baton stuck to the side of the key safe by the back door, so it's always there when I need it. There are many kind of camping shelters, gazebos, where have a metal component in the frame that you can stick them on, and I quite like that as an idea. While we've got the S1 here, this has been superseded quite recently by the H1R Nova, and the H1R has a recharging magnetic base plate, the same or similar, only slightly smaller in diameter than the one on the baton, which means that you can just drop it onto a charging unit and it'll charge, and you don't have to take the battery out. It doesn't affect the IPX rating, apparently. This is IPX8. It's a really sturdy unit, well sealed, well made, and certainly worthy of being submersible to 2 meters and droppable from 1 meter and still functioning. And the blurb that Olight have released with this suggests that it will also work in really cold and also in really hot conditions, but then the same can be said for the Fenix. It's in the lighting that I guess where they differ. Let me use, for an example, my old Petzl Mayo head torch. It gives the best of both worlds, because with the lens up, it's diffused. It has a lot of little diffusers in there that break the light up and spread it over a very, very large area for doing close work. If you're doing work that's further away, you pop the diffuser down and then you get a clear beam of light. Quite a narrow beam of light, but that goes a long way. The Olight employs what Olight call their TIR technology. It has a fixed diffuser in the lens, which means that you cannot use it in a spotlight beam mode. So the Fenix has a clear lens and only produces a spotlight and beam, and doesn't produce a particularly wide diffused light. And you can see this if you put the Olight on. You don't have to go far away before you can see that all you get is a diffused light pattern. And if you scroll through, the lighting modes on very low, medium and high, there is a definite, well-defined circular pattern there, but there isn't that central spotlight that so many of us have come to get used to. And when you hold it and go to double tap it and comes up to beam, for turbo you do get a really good light, but again there's no really well-defined central spot. One of the things that I do like about the Olight is it has this easy up lighting feature, and that when you turn it off and when you turn it on, it doesn't come on boom instantly. It grades up and it grades down, and particularly the advantage here is when you double tap and go into burst, it comes up into burst rather than smashing you in the face or smashing your companions in the face with a really strong burst. And down, and cycling through low, medium, high, low, medium, high, and then when on high, double tap, comes up into burst. By comparison, the Fenix has a very definite central beam with a really good, sharply defined halo around the outside, which when you're wearing it on your head means that you have a beam where you're going and the halo filling your peripheral vision, and it has a very definite spot, which means that when you look away into the distance, objects in the distance are much more pronounced and much better silhouetted. We can go through the cycles on this. Low, high, and this one you press and hold for burst, and it comes back up to burst. Burst stays on for about a minute and then comes back down again. Like I said, this comes with this handy device. Now, I have been raving about these batteries becoming more and more popular as time goes on, and this has got exactly the same battery in it as the Olight did, so there's no fudging there. But this one now, fix this extension tube on here, and it will now take a AA battery, which meant that if you're in a long-term power cut situation or you're away from home for a long time, it gives you that little bit of flexibility in terms of what kind of battery you can use in it, because it will take either the CR123A or a AA battery. This comes only in natural white, whereas the Olight comes in natural white and cool white. So if you do have a preference for which type of light you get, it does give you that flexibility. For me, I've been using the Fenix HL50 for about 12 months now, and I really rate it. Just this autumn I was looking to put together something between an EDC kit and a car kit. I was trying to keep weight and size down to a minimum, and I didn't want to give up my Fenix because I really enjoy using this, and I didn't want it to get stuck in the car and for me to end up using something else on a day-to-day basis. So that was why I bought the H1 Nova, and I have to say, for why I bought it, it does suit me down to the ground. But if you are in two minds as to which features you are going to use the most, or which features suit your purpose the most, whether you want good near to medium illumination in a really tight small package that has the advantage of having the magnetic base, or whether you want something that's a little bit more of a workhorse perhaps a little bit more sturdy, has perhaps a little bit more longevity, has a little bit more flexibility, and has that beam of light that gives you good medium and long distance illumination, and also you can turn it down so that you can get close illumination and not get a lot of splashback and be blinded, then the Fenix is the one for you. I think they each have a purpose. I think they are very, very similar head torches, but then I also think they're very different, and they were made for different applications. So if you are in two minds as to whether or not you would like the Fenix, then you need to think about that battery flexibility, good long distance beam. If you're looking for something close up, more close to medium distances, you want something that maybe has its own carry box so that you can keep all your bits and pieces close by, then you should consider the Olight. To be perfectly honest, it's like choosing between, well, it's like choosing between a Rolls Royce and a Daimler. They are really both excellent, excellent head torches. But for me, this one wins it for me. In terms of performance, with a AA battery fitted, the HL50 from the manufacturer's website on burst gives you 285 lumens. On high gives you 150 lumens. On medium, 55 lumens, and low gives you 3 lumens. If you're using it in its compact CR123A lithium battery format, or if you are using it in CR123A rechargeable battery format, on burst you would get 365 lumens. On high you'd get 170 lumens, medium you'd get 60, and on low you'd get 4 lumens, which 4 lumens is great for just rooting around inside your tent looking for something, or having a bit of a read of a book before you go to bed. The Olight H1 Nova, let me just pull the stats up now. The H1 Nova on turbo is going to give you 500 lumens, but they're going to be diffused, so don't think you're going to be able to burn the eyes out of a rhinoceros with it, because you won't. And you'll get that burst for 3 minutes. It then drops back to its high level, which is 180 lumens, medium is 60, and low is 2. So really, in terms of juice use and lumens output, there's not a lot to choose between them. What I would like to do now is, and I mentioned that this one was IPX8 rated. This is also IPX8 rated. So it's waterproof to being submersed to 2 meters and is able to withstand a drop of 1 meter. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch the video off and relocate the camera so that I can show you the difference in the burst patterns of light indoors before I take the 2 headlamps outdoors and show you what they perform like in the dark as though you had them on your head. Okay, time for a clunky edit. Okay, so here we are in the dark. Edits don't get much more clunky than that. This is the Fenix HL50. Off, that was burst. There we go. On high. And you can see that there is a very, very distinct and very, very definite white spot in the middle with a very, very sharp, very well-defined halo around the outside, which means that when you are outside, where you are looking, you get this very, very definite beam of light, but then you also get a good peripheral illumination as well. This is the Olight. Let's just cycle through. That's on high. And what you get is a very good quality circle of light, but you don't get that central beam, and the halo isn't as wide. So it seems that what Olight have done is they've combined into a medium angle the diffused light pattern to give you a good angle with good close to medium diffusion. With, you see there, with the at the same distance from the wall, the HL50 on the right gives you a really good field of view. And on the left here, the Olight just gives you that medium pattern. So for me, when I'm out using a head torch, this is what I much prefer. This is this is where I'm looking beam of light with a good full peripheral vision on the outside. That isn't to discount the Olight, they're built for different purposes. That's just my personal choice. So let's take them outside now and see how they perform in the dark. Okay, so I've come outside now to show you how these two little head torches function in the dark, so that you can see the spray pattern of the light and how they work at distance. First up, we've got the Fenix, and this is it on full beam. There is a litter bin there at about 17 meters that illuminates really well, and then just beyond it at 20 meters at the edge of the car park, there's a line of stones that you can clearly see when the light is on them and not at all when it's off. Just beyond, I don't know if you can see it or not, but probably at about 30-35 meters, there's a telegraph pole. I can see it illuminated and then not illuminated, and then illuminated and then not. I just don't quite sure if it'll show up on the camera or not. And this is the beam on full beam, clearly showing the really nice bright spot there. It goes way out into the distance, and it's also its accompanying halo. The white spot gives really good search definition, and the halo enables you to be able to see almost throughout your whole peripheral vision. Let's just knock it down to, and that's on moonlight mode. Only has two illumination settings, full and half, or full and moonlight, but you can see there for around camp, doing close work, finding a spaniel, messing around a litter bin, it's more than adequate for that. Again, the nice round spot that you can see there is also accompanied by quite a decent halo, allowing you to use the full width of your vision. Not so great at distance. I can pick up that litter bin there at probably about 17 meter mark, and then not when not illuminated, and then yes when illuminated, and then no when not. So it is very effective. Now let's one last look before we switch it off, and then over to the Olight. The Olight has three settings. It has a very low moonlight setting, very low moonlight setting. That would be good in a tent, especially if you were sharing a tent and you didn't want to disturb your cohabiter. That would be really useful. Keep it depressed and then it comes up to half. A nice diffused light pattern, a good definition in the overall circle, but without that two-tone of intense spot and halo. It's much more of a flood. Again, good close up, not really giving us that litter bin at 17 meters, and no chance of picking up those line of stones or the telegraph pole at the edge of the car park. Go up one more, and now we're on full beam. Really good for close work. For medium range work, it's giving me that litter bin, and then when I move the light away, it just disappears into the darkness and then comes back in. We can just about make out the line of stones at the bottom of the car park, and there's no way that it's reaching the telegraph pole. Pesky spaniel still there. So let's have a look how they compare with each other over distance. See, immediately you can see that even though the Olight is supposed to come in at, that's on full beam, the Olight comes in at 500 lumens. Because of the diffuser in the lens, it gives you this really wide pattern that doesn't really give you much at distance, whereas the Fenix, having that central spot, really does give you a good pattern of light. And that's the two of them on the ground side by side as best as I can. The Fenix comes in 365 lumens on full beam, and the Olight comes in at 500 lumens on full beam, and that's the discrepancy in measuring in lumens and not taking into account the actual light pattern that they create. So there we go. I hope that's been useful side by side comparison for you of these two very comparable torches. The only test I didn't do was a battery life test. Again, the more you spend on batteries, the more battery life you're going to get. The better the charger that you have, the less stress your batteries are going to be under when being recharged. Now this is the Olight on full beam. Let's see how far. If I had a ball, I could have sent her away down the end of the car park and we could have seen where she went. But if I just knock that one off and put this one on, then you can see quite clearly she's definitely in the spotlight now. So this has been Matt for Prepared UK 101. I think you know which of the two choices I prefer, but choice is individual and you're free to choose what you want. If you have enjoyed my video, as always, please like, share and subscribe. This is Matt from Prepared UK 101, wishing you a good night.